Back in the 90s, Power Rangers was a #1 show and one of the most popular shows in the world. Now, what happened? How come Power Rangers isn't as popular or as successful as it once was? It seems like after those first 5-6 years, no one could replicate the success of those early seasons. We are going to talk about why and what we could do in the future to see a resurgence. Let's break it down. Hit that intro, Rangers.
You are watching the Fan Club.
You're watching the Fan Club.
And you're watching the Fan Club. Do you know what time it is?
And you know what time it is.
It's time for the Fan Club. Let's go. Hey!
I can't do this on my own, cause you know things ain't always sweet when you out here in these streets. But my morpher when it morph, I made a fake one.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fan Club. We hope you guys are having an amazing Monday, and I hope that your weekend was excellent also. A few weeks ago, we did a video talking about the key factors behind the success of Power Rangers. Well, today we wanted to talk about that success and ask the big question, why hasn't Power Rangers seen the success compared to those earlier years? This will be a video breaking down a little bit of everything. Now let's get into it. Power Rangers has never been able to reach the same level of popularity as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers due to various reasons. Firstly, Power Rangers was the first of its kind, introducing a unique concept of combining live action and Japanese footage. Along with some badass fight scenes, these factors contributed to its initial success. Additionally, the use of dinosaurs in the show captured the imagination of many young viewers. Between the fight scenes, the action, the kick-ass music, the monsters, the suits, this was just a perfect combination in the early 90s. However, the long-term health of the franchise was hindered by the practices enforced by Haim Saban, the show's creator. The mid-season hiatus that was often implemented disrupted the momentum of the show and affected its viewership. They enforced tropes such as the comedy duo Bulk and Skull, and the shallow female characterization became stale over time and hindered the evolution of the show. I loved Bulk and Skull, don't get me wrong, I thought they were really fun characters when they were new, but it seemed like forever they just couldn't get rid of those characters, and then when they finally did, they just gave us new characters like them. Sometimes the characters made sense, and then sometimes they were just there to do comedy, and that got played out real quick. I feel like Bulk and Skull can do that because that's who their characters are, but every year they had one or two characters that were created just to hit you with some fart jokes or something. Another reason for the decline in popularity may be attributed to the show's patronizing nature towards kids. The addition of fart humor and the avoidance of mature topics like death and love limited the appeal of the show. Furthermore, the failure of the franchise to evolve and cater to its growing fan base resulted in franchise fatigue. Changes in the television landscape also played a role in the decline of Power Rangers' popularity. After-school programming for children has diminished, and modern shows tend to be more preachy and toned down. Power Rangers, on the other hand, had a sense of authenticity and fun that appealed to viewers of all ages. When this originally came out, when you got home from school, there was only 4 or 5 kids' TV channels that you could watch. Fox Kids was on there, and Fox was one of those channels that you could get on the antenna back in the day. So you had like a free channel. You were guaranteed to get some Fox Kids. You would come home, you would watch it. It was awesome. It's completely different now. And back then, there was a bunch of shows that were on, but Power Rangers just seemed different than them all. Now with the streaming services, there's all different kinds of shows for different types of people. And despite these challenges, the franchise has found a way to stay alive for over 30 years. Now, I want to take you over to a Reddit post. I read the first few lines and I'm like, yo, this is going to be good for the show and the channel. This guy by the name of Low Calliographer 3, hope I didn't kill your name. So let's read it. I honestly think there was a great sense of franchise fatigue by the Turbo season. And also much of the fan base at that time were getting to older ages. As we were growing up in the late 90s, Power Rangers wasn't as cool, talking about to friends at school. I know because this is exactly how I gradually fell out of the franchise at that exact time, and I was a big fan. I was only about 6 to 10 years old when I was into Power Rangers, and I was hardcore into it from the beginning. My family would get me the VHSs that would come out in any of the toys we could find. Oh, and I had all the Zords, from the Mighty Morphin Dinozords all the way to the Zeos. Looking back, those 4 years from first grade through fourth grade were epic, and yet flew by. Then once the actual Turbo season was airing, my interest for some reason heavily lagged. Power Rangers wasn't as cool to talk about anymore at school. We were starting to obsess into WWE, baseball, and Dragon Ball Z. It didn't help the stories in those initial 18 episodes were very subpar compared to what came before. Honestly, the last thing I remember tuning in for when channel surfing to see what was going on, ironically, was the last episode with the original Turbo cast where Tommy was hanging by a rope and TJ catches him. That was my official drop-off point, and aside from seeing occasional commercials, I was done for years. From my own experience, I think this happened to many of us OG fans. It was franchise fatigue. Stories weren't as good with mainstay cast members gradually leaving. So much continuously changing, whereas the first 4 seasons were so gradual with that. At the end of the day, it kind of phased out of top popularity. That's not to say the franchise wasn't still pretty big. It just unfortunately wasn't ever going to get anywhere near as big as it was from Day of the Dumpster up to the Turbo film. I myself did eventually get back into the franchise, and crazy enough, it happened when Dino Thunder was originally airing back in 2004. I saw Tommy back in commercials, and it looked pretty interesting with new CG effects. I gave some episodes a look. I was hooked again. Yo, I really enjoyed this. Shout out Low Calliographer 3. Thank you for this, because I relate. I was born in the early 90s, and by the end of the 90s, I was getting older. Like, I want to say in 99, I was about 8 or 9. So in 2000, I was 9. 2001, I was 10. When I was in 7th grade, that was the year that Ninja Storm came out. Then 8th grade was Dino Thunder, and I low-key watched it. Didn't talk to anybody about it, but I definitely watched those episodes, especially when I saw Tommy come back, so I related here. Didn't watch SPD as much, but I had a buddy where his mom had an in-home daycare, and she had all of the SPD episodes, so I sat there and watched them with the kids a few times, so I knew that was pretty lit. I think the year that I fully fell off was like after Mystic Force. I watched the first few episodes of Mystic Force and then just completely fell off. Once I got into high school, I think it was maybe 2006, my sophomore year, nope, we were done. It was just one of those things where no one in high school was talking about it. I thought I was going to get made fun of. So I agree to the point that we all got older and they weren't doing anything technically that was new at the time that was bringing in new fans, right? So that is an interesting point. Was it just to the fact that, hey, we're getting older and they never gave us a series to go with the older fans. And here we are in 2023, about to be 24, with no adult series still. I know we got the 2017 movie and that's the closest thing we got, but that's about it, man. What are your guys' thoughts? I really like this episode. I'm glad we could do this one. Shout out all the fans. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace. I want to give a special shout out to the Gold Ranger members Anime King Nick, Chaos Draco, The Arctic Operator, Miguel Ortiz, Let's Talk Sports, Papillon Oger, Roderick Ham, Louis Cairns, Salima Ramirez, Danny Nascimento, Stephen Heffelman, Thomas Franco, and Sean Schiffer. Thank you guys again for your support, and if you want a video shout out like this one, sign up to be a Gold Ranger member today. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. You could also become a member. Please join the fan club support team right now. We have a Blue Ranger power up and a Gold Ranger power up. This is an awesome way to talk with the fans. Join a fan club official chat group. You can also be featured in our videos. At the end of the videos, I will shout you out. That's if you get the Gold Ranger Power Up membership. Go check it out. Go support the fan club. We love you guys, and thanks for watching. Peace.
Hi, we're Bulk and Skull. We have been requested by the fan club to say something funny.